What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review, and this time I'm going to be covering Star Trek Into Darkness, the sequel to the 2009 reboot. Okay, I got a lot to say about this movie, so I'm not going to waste any time. My overall thoughts: I love Star Trek Into Darkness. I think it is better than the first movie. I think it has. I think the storyline is much better in this movie. I think the characters, while their chemistry was great in the first movie, their chemistry is further expanded upon and further tightened up in this movie. Star Trek Into Darkness hits all the right beats for me. The father-son relationship that was developed between Kirk and Pike in number 1 is further expanded upon in number 2. And when Pike meets his demise at the hands of Khan, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, I feel the sadness in Kirk. Kirk didn't just lose a friend and a mentor. He lost somebody who believed in him and fought for him and really was a father figure to him. And of course Chris Pine's acting in that scene is fantastic. Pine can convey really good emotion. He's a very good actor, very talented actor. Zoe Saldana as Uhura and Sacramento as Spock. Their relationship as well is further expanded upon. At the beginning of the movie, they're kind of fractured. Their relationship is on the rocks because during the prologue, the Enterprise is trying to save this planet from a volcanic explosion. They managed to do so, but Spock pretty much made the judgment call that for the Enterprise to leave and to let him die for the greater good. Of course, this pisses off Uhura, who was like, you wanted to die, you were going to die, you didn't even care, and blah, 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 blah. No, at first, it can go in the direction of being very, very annoying and awkward, but they managed to wrap it up and tighten it up in a very good way before the real action kicks in, which is when they go to the Klingon homeworld of Kronos to capture Khan, who is under the guise of John Harrison. So, yeah, Spock and Uhura, their relationship is done really well. I like, once again, Kirk and Spock's relationship is also done really well, and I like the whole idea of Spock being oblivious to the fact that the reason why Kirk went back to save him in the volcano is because Kirk considers Spock to be his friend, and how Spock is oblivious to see this until like near the end of the movie, I thought was really well done, and it further plays into Spock's character as a whole, is him just thinking with logic and not thinking with his heart. Not thinking as a human. He's too busy thinking as a Vulcan. Until you get to the final half of the movie, where the human side starts to take over a little bit. Especially when you see what happens to Kirk near the end of the movie. So that was really well done, handled very, very well. Karl Urban, who I forgot to mention in the first review, which I was very upset about because I think Karl Urban as Bones McCoy is funny, he's hysterical, and in this movie, it's no different. I love the scene where he and Carol Marcus are trying to detonate a torpedo, and pretty much McCoy's just flirting with Marcus, which I thought was funny, and Karl Urban just nails down a perfect Forrester Kelly. If I have anything nice to say about the original Star Trek, Forrester Kelly as Bones was always hysterical. That his sense of humor and his delivery, it's so dry and it's so grumpy. It has a grumpy, crass tone delivery to it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And Karl Urban is an exact splitting image of the Forrest Kelly as Bones. He's fantastic. Probably the best casting, one of the best castings of the new Treks. And I primarily love the cast, but I think Urban as McCoy, perfection. Can't go wrong. This movie has an appearance by Peter Weller, who plays Admiral Marcus, who is actually the villain of the film, though at first you don't think he's the villain, but his actions pretty much set off the chain of events that get into this movie. It was actually Admiral Marcus who had defrosted Khan from his hypersleep as a way to pluck his brain to pretty much weaponize Starfleet, and of course, Khan found, apparently Khan put 2 and 2 together, he escaped, and now Marcus is trying to right his wrongs. But as a whole, Peter Weller put on a very, very good performance. I like the scenes he shares with Chris Pine. I thought they got good chemistry with one another. And I also like the whole idea of Carol Marcus using the nickname Carol Wallace to board the Enterprise as a way to figure out why her father wants these torpedoes on the ship. Of course, we eventually find out that these 72 torpedoes are actually holding Khan's crew, and Marcus pretty much ordered Kirk to use these torpedoes to kill Khan. Of course, Kirk, coming back to his senses, says, no, we're going to arrest this man so we can stand trial. The right way to do it, the humane way to do it. And of course, this is what leads Marcus to pretty much kill Kirk as a way of, erasing any evidence that can lead back to him and stuff like that. So that was well done as well. The action in this movie, much better done, much better this time around. J.J. Abrams worked out the kinks from the first movie, and in this movie, he let his action scenes breathe. Very little shaky cam. They're exciting. They're exhilarating. The opening prologue is very fun to watch. At the half-hour mark, you see Khan pretty much kill off all the Starfleet commanders in a very intense shootout, which of course kills Pike. And that's my main gripe of this movie. Is that this movie it was off to a great start when you had Kirk being stripped of everything at the beginning because he was, he's a hothead, and the movie to me was doing it on the right track when you gave Pike back to Enterprise and you had Pike make Kirk his first officer, further cementing the fact that Pike views Kirk as his son and as someone that has a potential to be great, and he's giving him that second chance. The movie was off to a really good start with that storyline, but then 10 minutes later, Pike is dead and Kirk's the captain again, and it happened so fast you didn't get a chance to let that stuff breathe out a little bit. That's my main gripe. That's my main gripe with this movie, is that the Kirk and Pike relationship was stopped before it can really pick up juice, and I hated it. Though I do like the death scene, and I do like Kirk's reaction to the death scene and stuff like that. Okay, I think I got all that covered. Now let's talk about Benedict Cumberbatch as John Harrison, aka Khan. This movie introduced me to Benedict Cumberbatch, and ever since then I've been a huge fan of Cumberbatch. His performance as Khan is fantastic. Beautiful performance. One of the best villains, by far to me, one of the best villains I've seen on a film. The way Cumberbatch just plays Khan, he plays him as ruthless, menacing, intelligent, and has hints of sadness in there, especially when he's giving Kirk this monologue about his crew and how much he views his crew as his own family. And you see the sadness and you see a tear fall down Khan's face, and Cumberbatch puts on a fantastic performance, and the dialogue exchanges between Kirk and Khan just suck you in. Pine and Cumberbatch, great chemistry on screen. Perfect chemistry on screen. I love the dynamic between those two. And of course, now obviously, Ricardo Montalban is better. To which I say, no, Cumberbatch is better than Ricardo Montalban and Ricardo Montalban's plastic chest. I think that Ricardo Montalban was okay. I think Cumberbatch blows him out of the water in this movie. Like I said, I had seen The Wrath of Khan. I kept following. I was going in and out of sleep with it. Ricardo did okay, but Cumberbatch had me glued to the screen. And Cumberbatch, just the man himself, has this sense of this aura of like mysticism and mystery to him, and he applies that to Khan, and it just greatly nuances that character even more. And of course, his final fight with Spock near the end of the movie is fantastic, hand-to-hand combat. It's all done. It's all really well done as well. Fantastic. Practical effects in this movie look great. The Klingon homeworld looks like a desolate wasteland, and I love it. The actual look of the Klingons look pretty cool too. Practical makeup effects, I like it a lot. Once again, the CGI is well done. The practical sets for the Enterprise is well done. Before I wrap up, this movie also has a nice little storyline with Scotty, who at first refuses to have the torpedoes on the board of the Enterprise, to which he gives his resignation to Kirk. Of course, eventually Scotty does come back into the fold, and of course Simon Pegg throughout is hilarious. One of my favorite scenes is Scotty in a bar saying, "I will not do that man any more favors. All right, Scoot, let's go." So yeah, Pegg, fantastic. So yes, whoa. I'm sure there's a lot more of this movie that I didn't even attempt to cover, because I'm not going to cover it. watch Star Trek Into Darkness. This is a great fucking movie. It's so much fun. I like it better than the first one, which is why I got no problem giving this Star Trek Into Darkness a 10 out of 10. I think this is the perfect follow-up. It stands alone by itself. It does have callbacks to the first movie, but it tells its own tale. The acting is on point. The villain is fantastic. The villains, I should say, are fantastic. Peter Weller and Cumberbatch. And all the other sub-stories going on are also well done as well. So yes, perfect 10 for me. Okay. Whew. That was a lot. So, let me know what you think about this movie in the comment sections below. Also, to all you old Star Trek fans, let me know if you like or dislike this movie and why you either like or dislike this movie. And do you think it's better than Wrath of Khan, or do you think this movie is so inferior that you wish it was never made? Let me know all that juicy stuff in the comment sections below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll check you back next time for more.